Welcome to Tech Talks. Today I have Debo with me. Debo is the founder of Doctoora. Doctoora is a platform that connects healthcare professionals with quality healthcare facilities in Nigeria. Debo, welcome to Tech Talks. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for the invite.
So, how did Doctoora start? What's the story behind Doctoora?
So I moved back to Nigeria in 2011. I had done med school in UAE at Sharjah, just outside Dubai. And when I moved back, I think the first thing that hit me was the quality of medical facilities here and how it was really different. And the second thing that hit me here was how the practitioners here don't earn enough to be able to leave that public sector, that sort of rat race, to go set up their own private facilities. And that gap was leading to a decrease in access to care, such that most facilities would actually own the patients, and then the practitioners have to kind of slave under them, quote unquote. I was thinking about ways to reduce that burden, and also looking at the fact that that was the main reason why a lot of practitioners were leaving the country in search of better fortunes. We wanted to create a system where if we set up facilities, how do these professionals come in, use these facilities to see their own clients instead of private practice without setup costs and looking at those overheads that would actually prevent them from thriving. My plan was take one of those family properties that I had access to, break it down, set up a center with up to 4 surgical facilities, and then use this as a leverage point so that doctors or surgeons rather would come and use that. The selfish interest there was I wanted to be a neonatal surgeon.
Okay.
And there was no way I could be a neonatal surgeon in Nigeria.
What's a neonatal surgeon for?
So a neonatal surgeon is a specialized pediatric surgeon. So pediatric surgeons work on children, but neonatal surgeons work on babies that are still in the womb, maybe from about 3 months, 6 months in pregnancy to the first 28 days of life. So that was it. One center was what I had in mind. Then I got to business school. Fortunately and unfortunately, I chose Imperial College.
So we are alma maters.
Oh yeah, apparently. I chose that, and so much tech, so much informatics and all that. And after 3 months there, I had met my co-founder, Beatrix Wu, who is from Hong Kong, and she had the idea of creating an application that belonged to the patients, and the patients can use that application to carry their medical records around. So all that exposure to informatics and a lot of stuff made us realize that, hey, why don't we set up more centers so we have a lot of access points, and then have a central tech platform that connects everything, that has the records, but still geared around making sure professionals that were limited as far as Nigeria is concerned. So we have less than 35,000 doctors to serve 200 million plus people. We needed these doctors to roam across more centers and create access without having to burden people with queues, right? So that led to the initial concept around Doctoora. But then we did the financial projections and saw the cost of having to set up the massive centers, that were dreams that we had, and that was a stumbling block. But as with most things that are meant to be, both of us sat in the cafeteria someday. It was a very quiet evening. We're just discussing as usual, and 2 Asian guys walked up to us. They had created an algorithm to reprice the cost of food in restaurants during off-peak periods, right? They needed business school students, obviously, to help them with the business plan and all that. So we took on the project and helped them with their business plan. But in there, I got exposed to spare capacity and how you could take spare capacity and trade it. So that was a vital component that we added to it. So we went from trying to set up a lot of centers to going to existing centers and saying to them, hey, you have spare capacity. Why don't we take this spare capacity off you, rent it to doctors that need it, and that way you make money, they make money, we also make money. And that's how we got here.
Because it requires a change in mindset for some of the
Yes.
stakeholders that you are actually addressing as well, even the patients, the doctors, the centers as well. But it's what they really need.
So that cultural precedent, that need to change mindset has actually been the most difficult barrier to our growth and adoption. But I think it's reducing now because people are seeing the value. I think also because with Nigeria, people need to see things to believe it. So just saying out of the blue. So with us, we approached about 5 centers. When we wanted to start, everybody said no. So I kind of just spoke to my team. By this time, we were 4 founders now. And they said, so what do we do? And I said, okay, I'm going to speak to my folks and see if I can get some properties and convert them into clinics. So we converted 3, released the pictures, and then people saw it, understood what we're talking about. That's down the facility owners. And within a 6-month period, we went from 3 facilities to 18. And within a year, we went to 30 facilities. And right now, we have 30 facilities onboarded, 88 on our waiting list.
So let me just try to paint a scenario.
Yes.
It means that I could be a professional in the UK.
Yes.
I have some leave time and I want to actually come back to Nigeria to work. I can log on to Doctoora,
Yes.
connect to the different healthcare facilities depending on the type of equipment that there is, and meet my patients or meet patients there that require a service that is not available or in Nigeria.
Exactly. And the added advantage now is what we've done, that you can actually schedule, you can actually pre-announce to the patients that, oh, this is my schedule for March when I'm going to be in Nigeria. I'm going to spend 2 weeks in Lagos, 1 week in Abuja, another week in Ekiti, and then I'm back to the UK. So that people could already start to pre-book you. And maybe even in some cases, start to consult you with consult video calls.
Yes, sir, but I went to your website and really, so if I was looking for, if I had a particular illness, I could put it in there, choose my location, and then if the service was available, it will tell me the address and the location.
Exactly. So what we've done is that we've done it by specialty. So I need a gynecologist in Lekki. Search. All the gynecologists in Lekki show up, right? And then what we've done also from the professional's point of view is to give them that sort of flexibility, but also that location-based pricing helps to provide more access and get more people into the net.
So last question, so Doctoora, I mean like 30 locations, 250 doctors so far. I don't know how many patients have been treated, but where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Are you going to raise funding through existing shareholders? Are you going to go IPO? Are you going to do a round? Because clearly a lot of awareness and a lot of infrastructure needs to be put in.
Well, it has been really difficult. I think that whole funding landscape is no one really wants to put money into healthcare. We've been lucky that we are partly a real estate company, so we're getting some interest. The plan really is to build a Pan-African sort of company, especially looking at the West to East Africa belts. All around Sub-Saharan Africa, especially West Africa, there's a serious deficit in terms of health professionals. And what we are trying to achieve is that if we can create the infrastructure and standardize that across that belt, then we create a hub for medical tourism here, because people can now pick Africa as a destination and say, oh, it's so expensive to get this surgery done in the US. My surgeon is here in the US. It's a lot cheaper if both of us book a flight to Nigeria and we go do the surgery in Nigeria and be back in the US when we are fine. I have family in Nigeria, so I can easily get people there to support. So that's really our goal.
Debo, thank you very much for coming on to Tech Talks. It was a pleasure to have you, and we'll continue the conversation offline.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.